There's some evil monsters, Pokemon. You know, Mon is short for monster. So it's a pocket monster.
So is Pokemon demonic?
The answer to that is yes, they are all oriental demons.
Yeah, in my opinion, parents should not let their kids watch Pokemon, play Pokemon.
These pocket monsters want to get into your pocket, get into your mind, get into your soul. They want you to go to heaven with them. Now, the spirits keep it expressive, but a lot of times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines. That's what these monsters want, for you to depart from the true faith of salvation, or what makes you a Christian.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to the live today. This is a continuation of sorts of what we saw last week. So I decided to do more like a part two deal. Because as I was searching the first one, I thought that this was just like a thing that happened in the 90s. But it turns out that it didn't just stop there. And just to give you some context, this video is actually from 2016. At least this is when this this guy, I think he's a pastor, uploaded this, and this has to do with Pokemon Go. So I figured we'd take a look at a few clips, and we'll go through it. I think you guys are gonna find it entertaining, and yeah, we'll talk about a few things. If you have a question or something you want to ask, just put a Q in front of it, maybe a dash, and then I'll read it through as we kind of go through the live here. Can we watch One Piece? I don't know if we can do it on YouTube. We can figure something else out. They'll probably bring it down. I don't think they allow you to stream like full-on episodes. But yeah, let's get to the first cut here. I got a few. I decided to just cut it up, a few different parts that I found interesting that I wanted to kind of go over with you guys. Hopefully this won't go too long. So let's take a look at the first clip here. By the way, let me know if you guys can hear me well as well. So let's see here.
Many have seen the new fad going around today called Pokemon Go. All over the news, it's been talked about how there's this new video game that you can download on your phone, and you can actually go around and find little.
By the, you guys can't hear the video at all. All right, let me see. You guys should be able to hear the system audio. Hold on. Better now at all? Okay. Did I screw you guys over when I put in my headsets? Hold on. All right, let me know if you can hear it now.
Many have seen the new fad going around today called Pokemon Go. All over the news, it's been talked about how there's this new video game that you can download on your phone, and you can actually go around and find little Pokemon, whatever those are. And, I didn't pay much attention to it, didn't think much of it. But the more that this fad goes on, the more I think, I need to mention this. I need to talk about this from a Christian perspective on what this so-called Pokemon fad really is, because it could be a very, very dangerous thing. And so I was looking into Pokemon. Now, I don't know a lot about Pokemon, but I remember when Pokemon came out,
Yo, by the way, this guy continues the entire video calling it Pokemon instead of Pokemon. I don't know why.
Like the Japanese animation stuff. I wasn't into that. But when it came out, I said, wonder what that is. And I asked some people, and this was several years ago. And they said, well, Pokemon is all about a person having a little friend who's a monster. And he talks to that monster and he builds that monster up and makes him stronger. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound very Christian.
It sounds to me like he's describing Monster Rancher. Do you guys remember that? It came around the same time that Digimon did.
A person playing with a little monster, and I guess it's hatched from an egg or something, and they talk to it and they help it to win in battle and fight with it and things like this. And from a Christian perspective, my thought was, well, that sounds like witchcraft. You see, witchcraft is a person talking to demons, making deals with demons, and asking demons to do something for them through a contract, and then they do something for the demon. And so it sounded like to me, and I always thought, well, that sounds like preparing kids for later times to where they learn witchcraft and talk to demons. So I always thought, man, that Pokemon thing sounds pretty wicked. Well, Pokemon Go has come out now, which if you don't know, they call it, let me see if I can read it here from Wikipedia. It's called an augmented reality. And what it is you take your phone, I guess, and you down.
I don't know much about witchcraft except from what I've seen on TV and a few mentions in the Bible. Is witchcraft like primarily focused on talking to demons? I know there's like rituals and stuff, but like this is kind of like the hinge of his point that Pokemon is like witchcraft because you're training monsters.
Downloaded your phone and you choose your little Pokemon or whatever, and you go around on your phone and you look for these little monsters. And supposedly they're hiding in certain places, and you can find them through your phone. I thought, that sounds weird. We got an email from a friend the other day.
Yeah, I love this guy's expression. Like, that sounds weird. Like, yeah, we use our cell phones. That really sounds very strange. It's like he's never seen technology before.
Who's used to be years ago in the occult. Let me read the email that I got from him. He says, hi, Robert. Have you noticed the new Pokemon game? I have a background in occultism. I walked with dowsing rods to do research on demonic ley lines and dragon lines. Google Earth was installed on my PC, and it had ley lines from all over the world in it. I know exactly where some of the most demonic spots are, also in my own area. So here's a guy that used to be in the cult, and he says there's these lines upon the earth that are...
You know, the other guy that we were looking at last week, he also used to be part of the occult. Wonder if it's the same guy. Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know if they're magnetic lines or whatever they are, but he says that from his experience in the cult, these lines have to do with demons. Maybe this is the areas that demons most of the time pass as they go in their different directions. I continue from his email. One is close to an iron sculpture in front of my house. So one of these ley lines, which he calls occultic, is close to an iron sculpture in front of his house. He says, today I noticed that a lot of kids stop there on their bikes with their phones. I didn't know what they were doing. Then I realized they were playing this new Pokemon game in an augmented reality. I did some research on Pokemon this afternoon. ... It's demonic, he says. The game is all about evil and connecting ley lines. Pokemon are demons. People playing this game are putting themselves at great risk, not only physically because they're totally hypnotized in their game while driving their bikes and even cars, also spiritually because they open themselves to...
So I guess what he's saying here is that Pokemon Go is somehow like connecting you to these ley lines. I don't know what he means by that. Maybe just like locations where like demons are in. So somehow your phone is able to track that.
Demons on places where vortices to darkness exist. Wow. If he's right, you know what Pokemon is? That Pokemon Go game is allowing people to see into the spirit world, and they have animated demons. And so people are running.
Wait. This guy is literally saying that while you're playing Pokemon Go, the Pokemons that you're seeing on your phone are actual demons. Oh my gosh.
Around on these satanic ley lines looking for demons, and oh, don't they look so cute on your phone? It's actually allowing you to see into the spirit world through a little box. If what he's saying is right. Now, I'm not saying that I believe that or that's true. They kicked the man off of Twitter for life for saying I didn't like such and such a movie. And they're censoring people nowadays. I don't want to be censored, so I'm not saying that Pokemon is demonic. But I am giving you and reading to you the testimony of.
So for a second, when he was saying if what this guy that he's reading is what he's saying is true, that this could happen. But then what he does is that he says, he's basically saying, I'm only saying if, wink, wink, so that he doesn't get canceled because people have been being canceled on Twitter. So I think this guy's like believing this letter from whoever sent this.
A man who was in the occult, and he's telling, isn't it interesting that these Pokemon games tell you to go along these certain ley lines that in the occult are ley lines that are known lines where demons frolic to and fro. You know, it's interesting.
So that was our first clip. So far, he's really making it a point to. So that was the first clip. So he's really trying to make it a point that that Pokemons are demons and that somehow the technology is sending you to locations where demons are at. I don't know. What do you guys think about his theory so far? Oh, somebody's saying that they could see it. Talk to me. Say some more. How do you think that our cell phones are connecting to the spirit world, as this guy says? And while you're replying, hopefully you do. Let's look at part 2 here.
2 Corinthians 2:11 says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You know what they call your cell phone? A device, an electronic device.
Oh man.
Jesus said of Satan, he said, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven in Luke 10:18. You know, that whole world of electricity, lightning is electricity, has to do with the devil. That's his realm. Ephesians 2:2 says, where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, and the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Where does he work? In the air. From what I understand, this Pokemon thing is a device in your hand that shows what's really around you through satellite images, so it goes through the air, and it's an electronic device. And what is?
Oh my gosh. This guy, like that is the worst way for you to make connections within the Bible. This guy's like, oh, lightning. Lightning is electricity. These are electronic devices. So because they're electronic devices, this is what the devil is using to influence you. Like, what? I don't know, man. This guy is like, I don't stuff like this. Oh man, it makes me hurt inside. Makes me hurt. Let's continue.
Seems, if this email is correct, it's allowing people to put on spiritual goggles through a little box to see demons in the spiritual. That's pretty crazy. Here's the front page if you go to Pokemon Go. May not be able to see that, but you can go to PokemonGo.com if you want. And the first thing you see, it says, select your region. I'm like, huh? You know, the Bible says in the last days when the Antichrist comes, he's going to set up 10 regions around the world.
Oh, here are the
I
regions.
think 15 here. But it's interesting how it says region. It doesn't say go by state. It doesn't say go by continent. It says, hey, pick a region, and we'll show you where to get started to play this satanic devil game. Pokemon Go. And so here's the little device. Here's the little thing. So you get your little iPhone, which I find interesting. iPhone. You know, what the devil wants is to get you to only think about yourself. And so he wants you to be selfish. And what does a selfish person do? They say, I, me. You go to Isaiah, I believe it's chapter 14, talking about Satan. And I think it's 7 times that he says, I will do this, and I will do that, and I will rise up, and I.
Here's the exegesis. iPhones have an I in front of it. And the devil said I a few times in the Bible. And because of this, your iPhone, my friend, is demonic. This is where his logic goes. So let's finish this clip, and I want to share something.
You know, when it comes to Christianity, it's not all about you, it's all about Jesus. So this game, Pokemon Go, gets you to get your eyes on yourself. iPhone, it's like for your eye to see, and it's almost like it's a divining lens to see into the spirit world, if indeed, as this email says, these are demons found on certain ley lines on the earth. I'll tell you what, that should scare you. That should scare you right now. You ought to be afraid of.
You ought to be afraid. This is what this guy wants us to feel right now, is that we should all be afraid. It's kind of like, this guy's nuts. So this is what he just did, right? So Ash, right? Let me think about this for a second. So Ash, right? The character, that's the main character, Ash, right? You can say, okay, Ash, right? And then you say, you know where ashes come from? They come from fire, right? The ashes of the fire. You know, back in the Old Testament, there was a city once that was destroyed by God. Guess how? Through fire. And he brought it down to ashes. You know what this means? You know what this means? This means that those ashes that were from that wicked city, this creator is taking those ashes and he's naming the character because he wants to influence you and he wants to bring you out of Christianity. Like, this is the crazy logic that unfortunately people like this guy use. And it's crazy because there are people that believe this stuff, guys. And it's crazy. It makes us like actual Christians look like lunatics. Let's continue.
It's from Walking in Truth Blogspot. I guess you could go find it if you wanted to. And in here it says Pokemon is back. Pokemon. I call it Pokemon, but it's Pokemon, which man in Jamaican is, hey, mon. Pokemon. Is that what Pokemon is? It's the spirit world trying to poke you. Say, hey, come find me. Come look for me. I'm a demon. That's what this guy says in his email. I don't know. Right here, Pokemon is bad. Just another fad? Question mark. Read on. Okay.
I'm not saying he killed her, but somebody is. I'm not saying he killed her, but somebody did.
Let's read. This person tells the experience of how they allowed their 8-year-old child to play the game of Pokemon. And it says right here by Brett Peterson, Pokemon, the true power behind pocket monsters. I forgot to tell you that that's what they call those little beings, pocket monsters. They're little monsters. monsters that you can keep in your pocket on your iPhone. No, they just might be demons from hell. And their goal is to get you to go there with them. Well, anyway, let me read this. This is an experience of one family. It says,
This guy's intense.
our first-hand experience with Pokemon, especially the red and blue Game Boy versions, involved William, our 8-year-old child. A Christian friend gave William the video game for his birthday. A review of the packaging and the very scanty instructions provided with the game did not raise any red flags, so William began to play the game. I believe these are Christians talking. And they said the game involves a very intricate journey of fights between little creatures at each step with the goal of capturing all of the Pokemon. The game created an addiction and anxiety in the child, which made me very uncomfortable. The child felt addicted. Oh, I gotta do it like a drug. Oh, I gotta do some more. And the parents said that made us a little uncomfortable. But as we had only just purchased the Game Boy toy itself, I figured it was just the nature of video games in general. So it was just a video game, just a device. And
just a device, guys. The devices that Satan is using. Capture your children.
We are in the Bible not supposed to be ignorant of the devices of the devil. Could this be of the devil? I continue. 2 months into playing the game, and then it says, by the way, it takes 4 months to finish the game. William came to me one morning asking what channeling was. He emotionally spilled out that there were bad spirits and ghosts in his Pokemon game, and that channelers were calling forth the spirit of a dead Pokemon's mother. That it was very scary, and that he thought it was bad, that he should get rid of the game. All of Pokemon is evil, said one child. Channeling. Do you know what channeling is? It's trying to talk to dead people. Seances.
Are you not getting it yet? Dead people.
And many people who've been in the cult believe that it's demons that pretend to be those dead people who actually speak to you. So, wow, it gets even deeper. Maybe his email was right. Maybe they are going through these ley lines, trying to get you to communicate with seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Maybe that explains why people are stumbling upon dead bodies while playing this game. By the way, in Mark chapter 5, there's a man who has an unclean spirit, the Bible says. And guess where he likes to hang out? It says here that he's dwelling among the tombs. He's among the tombs. He's the man of Gadarene, the maniac of Gadara, I guess he's called. A demon-possessed man who loves to hang around dead people. So if you're playing a game and it leads you to a dead body, and you're supposed to meet a little monster there, you very well could be meeting a demon, because demons, unclean spirits, like to hang around dead bodies. I'm just saying, I would be very cautious.
Oh, man. So that last point there, so he's kind of saying that, there have been people, and I think I heard this on the news as well, that there have been people that, they're paying attention to the game, etc., and they're finding themselves like whatever in the woods or like somewhere else. Apparently, some people ended up finding a dead body. So he makes a connection again, quote unquote, to the Bible, that there was a demon possessed man that hung around at cemeteries, basically. And because while you were playing the Pokemon game, got directed, or you were led to a place where a dead body was found, which I mean I would have to look into to see if it was actually true. Then Pokemon is guiding you to demons. Like that's kind of like his logic at the moment. I don't know. What do you guys think about his approach? And I think this is the last clip that I want to share with you guys, and then we can kind of talk a little bit about it and maybe see some of your questions. And I'll talk a little bit about what the experience that kid had, because I think that there's some actual validity to have some concerns when it comes to any game, not necessarily just Pokemon, right? So let's take a look at the last clip here.
In Pokemon, the monsters are held in a Pokeball until the master summons them. Oh, so you have a little safe place for them. And then you open it up and say, "Now go do what I say, little demon monster." Man. In witchcraft, these spirits are summoned and called to stay in the circle until needed to fight off bad spirits. You see how it sounds so much like witchcraft? Pokemon Go. And yet, ignorant people are going around with their little devices. Oh, this is a fun game. And you're doing witchcraft. Or at least you're allowing yourself to be indoctrinated in it so that you can practice it later. It says, these guardians in pagan practice are often the spirits with whom a person feels comfortable with and has developed some form of a relationship with. In Pokemon, the trainer befriends their pocket masters and develop trusting and advice-seeking relationships with them. Possible guardians might be one of the ancestors, a spirit guide, or a spiritual entity, including animal spirits and even real animals. These typical witches, black cats, etc., with which a person is familiar. This is what occurs in Pokemon play. The pocket monsters are captured, trained, summoned as needed. Most pagan and earth-based religions and philosophies find power in the four elements: earth, water, fire, and wind. These are the energy cards in the Pokemon game. We're allowing to come into our homes. The elements in Pokemon are foundational to many earth religions and mystical rituals. We draw our power from God, not the earth. One last example of occultic practices in Pokemon. In paganism and the occult, there are spirit guides, messengers, and elementals are artificial elementals. They can be summoned to do things for the trainer or practitioner. They can, 1, watch and tell the trainer what it sees. 2, guard the trainer. 3, fight with other spirits or elementals. Or 4, carry out assignments given by the trainers. Pagans can capture free elementals, much like Pokemon trainers capture pocket monsters, and build relationships with them for using to oust other Pokemon trainers. I could continue on and on and on here, but my goodness, from what I've just read, what does Pokemon and Pokemon Go sound like to you? It sounds like to me exactly what this guy in this email sent me. That these are ungodly, satanic, demonic, evil spirits, and they've gotten a hold of a gigantic company and asked that company to help them make.
Demons got Nintendo. They've gotten a hold of Nintendo.
A game so that people can interact with them through a device. And while so doing, they're indoctrinating and teaching, but also initiating and giving people experience in dealing with witchcraft rituals. So if you're a Christian, you need to look at this game and say, no go. No go for my kids. I'm not going to allow them to learn how to deal with demons.
All right, guys. You got to say no go. You got to say no go to Pokemon Go. You know, I actually played the game for a little bit. I don't know. I think I maybe spent like a couple of weeks, and then I just kind of like got tired. You know, actually, you gotta say no to Pokemon Go, guys. I actually played the game a little bit when it first came out. I thought it was fun, but I don't know. After a while, like, one, it got too complicated because they had like all this like you gotta get badges and you gotta do like all this other stuff, and I'm like, I don't got time for that. And the other one, I don't know. After a while, it just kind of lost its flair or whatever. But he does mention, I think that there was some valid points when it comes to the kid that the parents that were sharing their testimony about the kid. And I think I kind of remember that scene that they're talking about. Andrison, if you're still online, there's a part where is it Cubone? Cubone in Pokemon Red. I think it might have been Cubone. Yeah. I think there's a chapter in the game where like this let me see if I can change my screen here. With this guy, Cubone, where his mother has passed, and I think it has like some spiritual stuff going on. I think that's really like the only, and that's where you kind of fight your like spiritual Pokemon and all that. So there is like some mysticism within the game. I'm not so sure though that I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I wasn't scared of it. I mean, I'm playing a video game. You know, it wasn't like a big deal. But it does sound like the kid that was playing it, he was a little bit afraid of what was going on. And I mean, as a parent, you know, you see that, and maybe you take a look at the game and you analyze what's going on, and maybe the kid is too young to play the game, and that's not for them. Um, but I think with all of these games, we have to be careful when it comes to how much time we spend on the devices compared to the other stuff that we should be doing right in life, responsibilities that we have. I think that games for a lot of us is it can be an escape, and if we're not careful, we can end up spending way too much time on games and neglecting some of the other stuff that we should be doing, right? Like, I mean, especially like as a kid, right? If you think back to when you were a kid, or maybe you're a kid right now, like you don't want to be doing chores around the house. Like you don't want to um, be doing homework, right? Like that stuff is not fun. But I remember when I first got like a Game Boy and I had a Pokemon game, I spent a lot of time playing the game because it was exciting, it was new, and I enjoyed it. But we definitely have to be mindful when it comes to how much time we invest on games and things like that. But like what this guy's doing though is it's not helpful at all. I think it's such a red herring, right? Because he's not even addressing the actual problems that you're gonna face. This guy's talking about how this game is guiding you through like the spiritual realm somehow. Like now you're like Yusuke and you Hakusho, right? Like you're fighting like spiritual demons and crap. So it's like, there could be an actual valid point and a danger to to this game or these games, but it's not that it's trying to guide. It's not like it's trying to get you to do witchcraft, and it's guiding you through the spiritual world of demons, and like that's what's holding you. Like that just doesn't even make sense. But what happens is that somebody listens to him, listens to this nonsense, and now they're off, and they're not even fighting the right fight. You know what I mean? Like instead of focusing on like, oh, like this witchcraft and stuff that's not there, these demons that are getting somehow showcased on our phones because that's what Pokemon is doing, is channeling the demon world, and what we're seeing, these Pokemon are demons, right? That's not the real issue. There could be some actual problems when it comes to the amount of time that we're dedicating to things like these, right? And the things that we are neglecting on another end. Maybe this thing that we're playing, that we're using, has become a sort of idol to us, and the time that we should be spending on studying our word or worshiping God, or getting involved in community within our church, we're spending it on a game. Like stuff like that is like actual issues that we should be mindful of, not this fake witchcraft that's not there. You know what I mean? So I'm curious to hear your thoughts, the few of you guys that are watching here. Like, I don't know, that when I see stuff like this, like it bothers me. And it bothers me because people see a video like this on a song called Christian, and now we're all labeled like these lunatics. And then like when you're actually out there talking to somebody, that they're not giving you the time of day because all they remember is this crazy Christian that was talking about how Pokemon is demonic. And the other thing that I wanted to mention when it comes to these type of guys, and it's not just with Pokemon. I know we've been focusing on Pokemon just because like that's what I was able to find, but it can be anything that you know that you like, or that youth, that people that are younger may like. It's like now you're adding almost like another barrier to entry. And if we look at scripture, and if we look at the Bible, if we look at the New Testament, if we look at Paul, that was one of the things that he fights against in his letters. And at that time, it was more when it came to the law, right? There were Jews within the congregations that were saying, no, it's not enough. It's not enough that you accepted Christ. Now you have to follow all of these other laws that we follow in order for you to truly be saved, in order for you to truly be a Christian, right? And that's, in other words, it's legalism, right? And oftentimes you see Paul saying, like, you can't add on to salvation. Christ brought salvation. You're saved through faith in Christ, and that's it. It's unfair for you to now place all of these other rules in front of somebody in order for you to be a Christian that are not against anything that God speaks about, right? And I think that that's where the problem comes, right? Because you have, let's say, a kid who, I don't know, what are kids into now, like Fortnite and all this, these other games. You tell them, Fortnite is demonic. You can't play this. If you play this game, then you can't be a Christian, right? So now we've added something in front of this person that we're preventing them from being part of our community. We're preventing them from being part of our Christian faith, right? Because we're adding on to the message not only of salvation, to the Bible that's not really there. It's these things that not only give us a bad name, but also it plays a part in having people focus on the wrong stuff when it comes to their walk, and almost even pushing some of these guys away, because now we're saying, hey, this thing that you like to do in your spare time, no, you can't do it if you want to be a Christian. And that's nowhere in the Bible. And it seems kind of funny, like what this guy's doing, but God is going to hold them, these guys, accountable for what they're doing. We really got to think about this. Like, this guy and the guy that we talked about last week, God knows how many people they've put in a stumbling block from them to approach Christianity, from them accepting God. And they're going to have to answer to that. So I don't know, whenever you see stuff like this, I would encourage you to shut it down right away. I think, like, this is crazy. And above all, it doesn't give Christians a good name. And I think in a way it is tarnishing the name of Christ overall. So let me just read through the chat real quick. See if there's any other comments. And if there aren't, then I think we can call it a day. Well, night. It is 9:40, actually, 9:40 on my end. Let's see here. I think that the guy, this is Rafi, she's saying here, I think that the guy is now there. I do agree that this game did cause a lot of crazy experiences. Yeah, that is true. Kids were getting lost in the woods and whatnot. Another person is saying here that there were a lot of accidents and things going on. Yeah, you should have been, that was something for us to be mindful and be careful on, for sure. But yeah, that's it. Those are the comments. Those are the questions. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out. Quick heads up, I am working on a series. I'm hoping that I can start releasing it next week, if not the week after. It's going to be revolving around heaven and the actual things that we know about heaven. And the way that I'm going to be sharing that information with you guys is through Dragon Ball Z. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the series, I'm going to take the comments and things that they talk about when they show us about heaven. The first video is going to be focusing on the things that they get wrong. And I was actually surprised. They do get a lot of things. I was able to find more things that they get right, Dragon Ball Z, that they get right about heaven, the afterlife, than they get wrong. And then I'm hoping to do 2 other videos to follow that one, following some of the things that they get right, and hopefully, you guys will get a better understanding in a fun way of heaven, and get exposed to a little bit more of what's expected. To be honest, like as I was doing this thing was even a blessing for me, because we're supposed to be looking for heaven, but I think that there are a lot of things that we concern ourselves with, like, will we recognize people in heaven? Am I gonna forget everybody? Like, is eternity like gonna be boring? Like, what does eternity look like? Like, there's a lot of questions like these that I'm gonna hopefully be answering in this video series. So look out for that. And as always, I just want to remind you that we must persevere. So catch you guys later. Bye.